Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're here with Jonalyn Saxer.
Woo! She was in Cats, Holiday Inn, Honeymoon in Vegas, and Bullets Over Broadway.
And she was on Mean Girls on Broadway, and she's currently Karen Smith in the Mean Girls tour.
Let's get on with the video.
Here we go!
Broadway time!
How did you get into theater?
So my whole family does musical theater. So, my mom and my dad actually met doing a production of The Music Man, and my mom is a music director and she plays piano. My sisters, I have 3 older sisters and they all do theater. So I said it recently. I was like, it wasn't like a suggestion. Like, theater's a fun thing we do. It's like, you have to do theater. Right. Like, it was not an option growing up. It was just, that's what our family did. Like, my parents had me and my sisters, they'd be doing shows and we'd be in a crib backstage. And I was in when my first show, technically, I was like 2.5. And I was essentially like a prop baby in a crowd scene. And they just but then they also never had to get babysitters for me because I was in the show with them. So I was at the theater with them.
Right.
So I've just been doing it my whole life. It's just a huge part of my family.
What is your favorite show mishap?
Oh, my favorite show mishap that has ever happened. I will say a funny thing happened on tour where Mariah got sick and she had to call out of the show. And so they were going to stop the show to get English in her costumes, except this was all decided while I was on stage singing Sexy. And so I didn't know that the show was stopping. And so I finished the number and Danny still hasn't entered. And I'm kind of holding my pose, and then the applause starts to die down. I'm like, oh my gosh, Danny, you just must not have made this quick change. Oh no. Right. And then my spotlight goes off and I was like, why did they turn my spotlight off? And I look over my shoulder and the curtain has come down an inch away from my body. And they just brought the curtain down. No one grabbed me. No one was even able to tap me on the shoulder. And I turn around and the curtain's down and I go, ah! And then I had to we don't have a center part in our curtain at Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. And so I had to run all the way to the side of the stage to go behind the curtain. I was like, what's happening? They're like, Mariah's sick. And everyone was cackling because I was just left on stage.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So when we had to start the show back up again, I was like, please. I walked out in front of the curtain and hit my final pose so they could raise the curtain up from behind me.
So what is your favorite stage door memory?
Stage door memory?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a hard one to pick out. I just love meeting people at the stage door. I will say I've had a lot of fans who've come seen the show multiple times. And especially during Cats, it was really meaningful. And some fans did this for Mean Girls too, when I was understudying, where they would be like, you have to let us know when you're going on for Bomb. I've seen you as Demeter and Cassandra and Jenny Anydots. Bomb's nice. The only one I've missed. Or you have to let us know when you're going on for Katie. I've seen you as Karen and as Regina. And and just the effort they would make to come see understudies and swings in all of their different tracks. It was really special because sometimes when you go on last minute or, we're on Broadway, my family only comes every once in a while. A lot of the times we do the shows, when you do shows as a kid, you're always there's people in the audience. Right. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time, my first professional job where I was doing a show and I was I don't know anybody here. I'm just doing the show and it's a little different, but it's always special to have that little team rooting for you. Mm-hmm. And so I love that. I also have a couple of super fans like Drew and Rachel who've given me really personalized gifts that I still hold on to and it means so much to me. Those are really special things.
Well, shout out to you, Drew and Rachel.
Right. Be a super fan.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a 2-part question. What movie would you want to turn to a musical? And what musical would you want to turn to a movie?
Okay, movie to musical, a Goofy movie. I already have the first number choreographed. I told Ashley about this, and she still laughs at me. It includes 2 moving walkways for Max to get to school. Because you guys know that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I used to watch all the Goofy movies when I was little.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine ending Act 2 with like a power line concert? Like, how good of a show would that be? There's just the puppet show. I mean, there's so many great number options. I just can't even get started. So a Goofy movie, I want to be turned into a musical. And also the like design, like they don't have to be dressed as dogs, but they can have like pigtails or like little hints to it. I just think
kind of like how SpongeBob the Musical was like.
Yeah, like where they like kind of color the
like
hand.
a big box, but like
give them like
like a dog.
Because people are like, but they're all dogs in a Goofy musical, and I'm like, barely. Like kind of they're dogs, but like
they didn't even
as a
look
kid,
like
I don't think I didn't realize that Goofy was a dog when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, Max is a dog? Like, they just seem like, you know, like, what great features for Pete and his son, you know, just like 2 great characters. Oh, his son, they could have such a great number. Anyway, needs to be turned into a musical.
Right.
A musical to movie. I hadn't thought about that ever. Do you guys have one that you want to be turned into a movie?
Ooh, that's a hard
because a lot of movies are musicals already. So it's kind of like,
like musical to movie.
It doesn't normally go that way.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I would. I mean, I know they're already making this, but a Jeremy the
they
Jeremy
are
Hansen
making that.
movie, that's gonna be super cool.
Super fun. Yeah. Super cool.
I don't know. That's like super.
I feel
hard.
like, I guess. Are they making a Wicked movie? Not like recorded.
I mean,
that's been in the works.
Yeah,
I mean, like they've been saying they're gonna do a Wicked movie since Wicked came out,
right?
So.
Yeah.
So I guess so. Another person that we interviewed, like I guess a week last week, said they wanted to have another movie of Into the Woods. So another remake of Into the Woods. Yeah. So maybe that would be a good one.
Yeah.
I think, you know, now that I think, like, a show that I really loved that did not live long enough on Broadway was Bright Star.
Mm-hmm.
And it just has such a good, like, story. And it's, like, an original story, too. And I just think, like, the way it could be told, it could have such a good vibe. Because there's such, like, a turn at the end, and I won't give it away. And, like, the emotions are so heightened in it. I think that would be a good... You know, it has enough, because sometimes with movies, like, the storyline needs to be more, because musically, you know, who knows, but maybe Bright Star.
Oh, what about, Joe, Be More Chill, I think would be a really good movie. Have you read you need to read the book. The book is really good. It's about this kid takes a pill and, like heightens the, like, their selves, so I think that would be I love the book. I didn't get to see the musical, but I love the book. I think that would be pretty good as a movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I still stand by the best movie musical adaptation is Chicago.
Yeah.
They just did the directorial idea they did with taking those numbers and making, you know, it was just so good.
So when was the moment you knew you wanted to pursue theater forever?
I think it was when I really because I always loved theater, you know, and I think when I was a junior in high school, I was doing a production of 42nd Street. Junior? Maybe I was a sophomore. I was 16. Okay. And I did this, there was like a professional theater in my area. It had like 3 equity contracts, but the rest were non-ec. And I had done shows with them when I was a kid. You know, I was a snow child in Carousel, and I was, you know, a kid in Oliver, or an orphan in Oliver. But when I started to be in high school, I started to get cast as an adult in their adult ensembles. And I was in this production of 42nd Street, and it was being directed and choreographed by one of the original dance captains from the original Broadway production.
Oh, wow.
And so we were doing all original Broadway choreography. The costumes were rented from the Broadway production.
Wow.
Like, it was just so full. And I was doing it with all these people who were pursuing theater for as a career. And I think at that point, it wasn't just that I wanted to do it, because one, I was obsessed with those rehearsals. I was like, this is the best thing. It's still one of my favorite shows to do. This is the best thing of my entire life. And 2, I was like, I think I can do this. Like, I am 16 and I'm holding my own in a rehearsal room filled with people in college and college aged older that are studying this, that are pursuing this, you know. And so for me, because I've always tried to be very realistic. And so I think at that point I was like, I think this is not just something I really want to do, but also like a very realistic thing for me to do. Yeah. And I think that was kind of the switch. Also to be in a rehearsal room that's not high school theater. Like it was so different to be in a room where people like weren't there to hang out with their friends. Because at my high school, so many people did the shows so that they could just like hang out with their friends. And I was like, we are doing a show. You need to learn your lines. You are not sitting in the right place. I was so serious. I'm still so serious about it.
So what was it like doing Cats?
It was the hardest thing in the whole world. Yeah, it was such an experience. I was just talking, I was talking with my friend yesterday about who was in Cats with me. It was such a learning experience for me because I never thought I would be in Cats. I've actually auditioned for many productions of Cats and I've never made it past the first round. I always get cut right away. So I was just like, Cats is like just not my show. Mm-hmm. And so when I got called in for the revival for replacement, it was also, they knew the woman who was our associate had been my associate choreographer for Honeymoon in Vegas, which I had been a swing on. And they needed a swing and they needed someone they knew would be able to swing and they knew they could trust with doing that. And I had swung. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was a big part of me getting hired for that show. But then it's that, and this happened a little bit with Mean Girls where you're given a task and it's like, I have to rise to this. Mm-hmm. Like, I am going to work my booty off and commit to these roles and learn this. And I will say, like, there definitely pretty much anytime I debuted a track in Cats, I went home and cried. Like, it was just so, like, it's a hard show. Yeah, and I was up there with people who are, like, just the most insane dancers, not just on Broadway, but like in America, in the ballet world and in the dance world. And I was up there and I was like, I am not giving the performance that these audience should be seeing. Like they need, and it really took a lot of work and I really committed. And I think eventually I ended up doing my tracks very well. Mm-hmm. But it was a big learning experience also with giving myself grace of being like, sometimes you mess up and that's okay. And how do you move on? And also doing a whole show where you can't check your notes as a swing. Yeah. You know, you just have to you don't leave the stage. So you just kind of have to know what's coming next. I will say though, the Cats company was really amazing because swings were on all the time. The onstage cast was so accepting of swings being on stage. And I think that taught me a lot of the difference of being like, because every once in a while you go up and you're doing a duet with someone or you're partnering and it's so apparent you're like, I'm not the person they normally do this with. Right. And you can be a better dancer than the person they normally do this with, but they're used to the way that other person does it. Yeah. So but the onstage cast is so malleable because people were injured or we had swing outs and they're so understanding and accepting and had a lot of fun with it. And so that was really amazing. I will say there are like times like in Cats, you're in full cat regalia, if I may say. And in this number, Peaks and the Pollicles, I had this like giant, as Cassandra, I would put this giant like burlap sack thing over my head. And then we had these burlap sack things to put on our hands. And you had to have a dresser put on your second one because you couldn't use your fingers because they were like bags essentially. And I would just like look at the person behind me and I'd be like, this is the height of our careers. Like Cats is a show people aspire to get to, right? It's like such a big show. And I was like, I am wearing burlap sacks on my head and on my hands. And I'm about to go, and I'm dressed as a cat, about to pretend to be a dog in a fake show in this show called Cats. And I am at the height of my professional career. You know, it's just like so silly, the things we do for our jobs. And I absolutely adore it.
I have a follow-up question. Did you like the movie Cats?
I will say that myself and my family, before I was in Cats, were not fans of the musical. But I will say after being in Cats, the hard thing is I couldn't watch the movie from an outside. I couldn't just watch it and be like, do I enjoy this or do I not enjoy this? Because I was just like, oh, that's a little bit of anti-choreography. Oh, they changed this. Oh, so is that supposed to be Cassandra and that's Demeter? Or, oh, what are they doing here? Oh, okay, I get who that. Like, it was all of this other, I was watching it with this other eye that I couldn't just sit back and be like, is this bringing me pleasure or is it not? I don't think it was great. I mean, I will I don't know why Cats was ever made into a musical. Like, I don't know why it exists. And so I also don't know why they were like, we need a movie right now in this time in the world. This needs to be a movie.
Right. Yeah, we watched Cats. We watched Cats in France. And, like, the first time we watched it, and Mom,
it was what, like, I was really excited because, like, I'm the big musical theater enthusiast. So I was like, we have to go see Cats.
I watched, like, the recording of Cats, you know what I mean? Like the
1992.
Yeah, like a while ago. And I was like, okay, this looks really interesting. So let's see what they're going to do. It was a waste of time.
It was different.
It was just, I love James Gordon and I love, like, the people in it. But collectively in that movie,
I'm the biggest Taylor Swift fan. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
But you know what made me really mad is that they were like, they got us all hyped about Taylor Swift being in it. She was only in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Like a little bit, like a little part.
She was in it for 5 minutes. It was.
I love everyone separately, but together in that movie, it wasn't it. It wasn't.
It was so
bad.
It was so strange, and none of them had noses.
Yeah.
Like, there were days, like, when you would forget to put your cat nose on, and I'd be like, I'm not wearing my nose. And people would be like, you look so weird. And then they did a whole movie, and it was like, we all were like, what, they all forget their noses? Like, how do you not have a cat nose?
No.
But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it was very, our mom was like, what did we just watch? Like, what did we just sit here and watch for, like, because we were in France, so, like, you wouldn't think to, like, be in France and go to the movie theater, right? So we went to a movie theater, and then we spent it on, like, a really bad, like, movie, so.
Was it all in French, too?
Oh, no, luckily, I think it was in, like.
I think it had subtitles?
So it had, like, French subtitles, but it was in English.
In English, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that the words really make sense anyway.
No. I was basing it off of, like, what I saw the recording, so I kept asking Joe, because I thought I was going crazy. I was like, does this make sense? Did this happen? And he was like, no. He was like, it was no. I was like, I know.
Does the actual musical make sense?
Yeah, I was like, no.
Does Cats in general make sense?
No, not really. No.
But it's such a joy to watch, and it's such a feat of dance and the human physical body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, like, some musicals you just can't take seriously. You're just gonna sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, like, not think about, is this real?
Yeah. Because I don't know whoever thought of that idea. They were on cloud 9 with that one, because that is such a crazy, like, bizarre idea, and then, like, wanted to make it to a musical. Love that. Yeah, they did good.
I will say, being in it, I was like, I see why so many kids they love this show, and why, and it's not a kids show. No. But why they fall in love with Cats or fall in love with musical theater, because Cats is a different experience in the theater than any movie you can ever go to. The cats are there and they're around you. Also, we say each cat's name so many times, like the kid, because like sometimes you meet kids and you're like, who is your favorite character? And they're like, the one in the green.
Right.
Like they don't register. But cats, you're like, who's your favorite character? And they're like, Skimbleshanks.
Yes.
Because they can recognize the name, and then I think that's such a draw. Cats is just such an experience in the theater, which is why you lose that in the movie. Like you don't have the same things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So, what was your favorite part about doing a tour?
So many things. I loved seeing the different cities. It's kind of like you just got to do, I would always try to do like 3 things in each city, one of them being like one of the best restaurants in that city, which was so then you're taking yourself out to like a fancy dinner like at least once a week, and that's amazing. And it's not like, oh, it's like you have to experience the city, and lots of zoos and museums. But also like when you take the show to the city, so many fans and people had been fans of the show for so long, but just don't have the means or the wherewithal or the time to go to New York. And they've just been waiting to see it. And they're, you know, all these cities have such great theater going communities in them, and they have such pride in their own communities. And each presenter who hosts us, you know, the people who own the theaters, take such pride and want to give us the best thing so that we can say, like, who's your favorite city? And, like, they want to be your favorite city and all this kind of stuff, which is really fun. You know, so every night, every week, every new city, we'd have, like, an opening night party, and it was such a blast. And, you know, so you're celebrating all the time, but then meeting everybody at the stage door who's like, I've been wanting to see this for so long, and they finally get to see it. And every city has a different kind of feeling in the audience. And so it really keeps it fresh, and it keeps you on top of your game. And I find that super fun.
Well, what was your favorite part about doing Mean Girls?
I love Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls for a lot of reasons. And one of the things I love about doing theater is I love, like, being used to my full capacity. Like, I'm super extra, and I'm like, I want to be in every number. I want to do everything. And in Mean Girls, the ensemble has zero downtime, which is it's really difficult a lot of the times, like on a Sunday night, and it's your 8th show of the week, or if you had an audition earlier that day, or you were running around running errands, like, it's really exhausting. You don't get a break. But it's also, you don't get a break. Like, I'm doing a show, and I didn't choose to do theater so I could sit backstage at a dressing room station. Right. Like, I do theater to do theater. And Mean Girls, the ensemble, you're just used so much. Which I love. And then Mean Girls, this really started to hit me during the pandemic. I didn't realize how much over the past 3 years, you know, or 2 years of doing Mean Girls, how much I used the show to bring me happiness. Like, I could be having the worst day of my life for any multitude of reasons. Like, I go to warm up and I'm, like, ready to cry. You know, it's just like one of those days where I just, you know, who knows what had happened that day or what someone had said, but I would start the show, and no matter what, by the end of the show, I felt happy. Because it's not like Dear Evan Hansen or Les Mis, where, like, then you're crying in the show. Like, I've just been so blessed to be in such, you know, Holiday Inn was the same way, and Honeymoon in Vegas. No matter what mood you were in, but going into the show, you came out happy.
I like that.
And it was just hard to not have a fun time doing all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love and I really miss.
So what was the difference between doing Mean Girls on Broadway than on tour?
Not a crazy amount. I mean, we made some changes. I think that the biggest difference, well, for me, was I was playing Karen, which is much easier than being in the ensemble.
Yeah.
It was so much easier, so I could kind of enjoy my day-to-day life more because I didn't have to worry about, like, oh, if I walk around all day, I'm going to be too tired to do the show. I was like, I didn't walk around for 2 days straight and still do Karen. She stands there, you know? I just don't do anything. And so that was really nice to, like, kind of be able to enjoy my life better, because going from Cats into Mean Girls, during Cats and when I was in the ensemble of Mean Girls on Broadway, I just, like, didn't have a life. My whole life outside of work was maintaining my body and my voice to be able to do work at night. Which was really hard. But also on tour, I think the cast had, like, a much more unified connection, because the ensemble and the principals in Mean Girls, like, just when we're dancing is when they're changing, and when they're doing a scene is when we're changing. There's not a lot of, like, connectiveness, especially with the plastics, because they're not supposed to talk to us on stage. We don't, when they're doing their stuff is our breaks, and when we're doing our stuff, it's their breaks. And so there's not a lot of overlap. And our principals on Broadway were great and wonderful and so considerate, but there was just always kind of a separation.
Right.
Even just in the building, like we got changed here and they always went up to their dressing rooms. And so even just back, it's not like we had a green room where we could all hang out. And the stage was, you couldn't really hang out backstage because you were going to get run over by a set piece. And so on tour, because we're all traveling together and we're rooming together and we're carpooling and we're going on adventures together, the whole cast was a lot more unified and we knew each other a lot better. And I think that's also just the nature of tour, because you only have each other to hang out with. And so that's really fun. And I really love that about tour.
What was it like being a swing?
It's the hardest thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
I will say swing is, I say, it's the least rewarding and most rewarding job all at the same time. Because when you save the day or you really nail it, or you're doing a split track or you debut a role, it's so fun and everyone's excited. But then also, like when I was in Honeymoon in Vegas and I was a swing, like I had producers who didn't know who I was because they had never seen me on stage. And so I was at like an opening night party and they're like, "Hi." And I'm like, "I'm in the show." Spend money on it, you know? And it's also hard because, you know, you walk out of the stage door and you're in, you know, everyone's like, "You weren't in the show." And so on those off days, and especially with openings, when you originate, like you're not on stage opening night. So everyone's taking their opening night bow, or, you know, they're doing the number and the audience is reacting. And it's really fun because you get to watch, but also like you're not a part of that. And then like a lot of times you're not in like the fun production photos, and sometimes you don't get to do press things. And so that's really tough. But as a swing, I will also say, like, again, I'm super extra. I want to play all the parts. I want to do everything. And when you're a swing, you get to. Like I was a swing in Cat, so I got to sing McCavity, but also sometimes I got to do Gumby Cat, and then sometimes I got to do these dance sections as Cassandra, and you know, it's kind of like I got to do everything, and I didn't have to miss out. And even being an understudy in Mean Girls, it's like sometimes I got to sing sexy, sometimes I got to sing Someone Gets Hurt, sometimes I got to sing Stupid with Love. You know, it's like I got to do all of the parts and have all of the fun and do all of the things which I love. My like, as an experience of being a swing, I say being a swing is like having, at any point you could have a pop quiz, and the pop quiz determines your final grade. Because you never know when you're going to go on, but also when you go on, you need to know it. Because also if it's your first time going on and you really mess up and you don't know what you're doing, they're going to hesitate, and they always have two options. They're going to hesitate throwing you on. And that's it's hard because we want everything to be equal. But it's like, if you're not you have to do your job for them to be able to be like, okay, it's a big trust thing. It's a big, especially with partnering or duets or just knowing your lines, because some people can get hurt if you don't know where you're going or you don't know what you're doing. People can get hurt, right? If you're not there to catch somebody, if you're not catching somebody in the right way, it's a, you know, high stress job. But then when you do nail it and you get an A, and it's just like the most exhilarating thing. And I will say, I always say the best way to make your Broadway debut is as a swing or a replacement, because like when you're opening a show and it's your Broadway debut, if you have your first preview, but that's also not opening night, and during previews, everyone's just more worried about what's going on and what did we change earlier that afternoon, that there's not a lot of time to be like, this is my Broadway debut. Everyone's like, yeah, that's great, but what were these new lines we got today? You know? And whereas when you're a swing, like when I made my Broadway debut in Bullets Over Broadway, the whole show was about me. At any moment, somebody was like, "How's it going? It's so you're doing so great." And then when it came time for bows, every principal bowed and then turned to me and like gave me a little round of applause. Nice. And then like when I bowed, like the two people next to me were holding up my hands. Like the whole show was about my debut. It sounds so selfish, but it's such a big deal. And as a swing or as a replacement, you know, there's a lot of things working against you, but also you get to have that performance be about you. And it's really exciting.
I have to wonder. Do you like being a swing, or would you, or like more like happy being like one of like the main like roles? Because being a swing, my gosh, I applaud every swing out there because it's a hard job.
Yeah, it's really hard, and I find so many reasons to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. You know, for Cats, I would want to be a swing and not on stage every night in Cats. Oh, okay. Also because sometimes, like, I really enjoyed not having to do that show because my knee hurt or my head hurt or I was really tired. And I was like, I'm okay with not being a cat tonight. Right. That's okay with me, you know? Mm-hmm. As well as getting to do all of those different features and stuff. I was happy to not be a swing in Mean Girls. They all take different kinds of things. Yeah. And when you're a good swing, I mean, swinging now is easier for me because I've done it a couple times. And so it is not as hard, but it's always going to be hard. It's always going to be a little unrewarding. Because for as many people, for every, you know, ensemble member or principal who is so excited to act with you or dance with you, there's going to be that one who's just like, kind of upset that you're not their best friend who they've been doing this show with for a year.
Right.
And that's not your fault, and it's not their fault. It's just like the nature of the beast, and no matter what, you can't be anybody else. Mm-hmm. And as a swing and an understudy, you're always kind of trying to be somebody else, but you can only do it the way you do it. Mm-hmm. And we can all pretend like we're super nice and we're all super comfortable with ourselves, but we're artists. Let's be real. Yeah. People's egos are going to get in the way. People are going to get nervous or jealous. And that ends up falling on you as a swing. Mm-hmm. You know, a lift doesn't go right. And it's like, well, it's your fault. You know, it's like, well, no, actually, you guys are never doing this lift correctly. You've just gotten used to doing the lift incorrectly. Right, yeah. When I'm actually right, but it's wrong because it's not the way you always do it, which actually is wrong. But in the swing, it's like, well, then you need to do it incorrectly with them. And it's like, you just can't win. Mm-hmm. So I think my agents and my manager would love me to say I'm never going to swing again. They would really like me to say that. But like for me, like a job's a job, and if it's a chance to be on Broadway, it depends on the show. Mm. There you go. Okay. What that would entail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing about like getting like they're doing it the wrong way and you come in and you do it the right way. I'm a cheerleader, so I cheer a lot. And especially when like you're a freshman and going to maybe like, especially when I was going to a new school and where these girls like knew each other from since like middle school, elementary school, and then I was like coming in, like they might have done some ways that I did not learn how to do, and then they were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I've been always doing this. So, yeah, I get the whole idea. Like, you're doing it wrong. You might not be doing it wrong. They might not be doing it wrong, but they're not doing it the way that you learn how to do it. So, yeah, I get that, yeah.
So now we can play a game. So we have 2 games. The first game is called Put a Finger Down. And so we'll give you a little prompt. And if it happened to you, you'll put a finger down.
The second game is Guess the Musical. We're going to give you little prompts from like lyrics or like opening sayings from the shows. And you just guess, and we give you clues if you need them. Yeah.
Okay.
So first we can do Put a Finger Down. So... Put a finger.
Is it 10 or is it just 1?
Oh, no, it's 10. It's 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Put a finger down if you rejected plans because of rehearsal.
If I rejected plans? Oh, yeah.
Put a finger down if you cried at closing night.
Put a finger down if you've been noticed on the street.
Mm-hmm. Put a finger down if you interacted with that theater girl or boy.
Probably, right?
Yes.
I love it at the stage door, and they're like, we're doing a production of Mean Girls, and I'm like, 1, that's illegal. And they're like, and I'm playing Karen, and I'm like, that's great.
Put a finger down if a famous person ever came to your show.
Put a finger down if you burped or farted on stage.
Yeah, all the time. You know what's really hard to do is it's really hard to hold in a fart during a tap number. It's just difficult.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yes. Put a finger down. Put a finger down if you've fallen on stage.
Put a finger down if your voice cracked on stage.
Put a finger down if you got gifts from fans.
Put a finger down if you play multiple roles in the show.
Yeah, in the same show?
Yeah.
Or just in a show, yeah.
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 All right, you did it. You won. So
I won!
So for your prize, you get these Fashionisha glasses!
And a balloon! So come collect your prizes.
Yes.
So I have to ask, what was the burp or farted story that you can give us?
I mean, you guys, we are all humans. And I especially, and we're healthy humans. You know what vegetables do is they bloat you and then they make you fart.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all, it's just, I haven't had as bad. There was somebody once in Mean Girls, and I will not name who, but she's kind of legendary now, where she farted during Whose House Is This? And it was like all of stage right smelled. And like you could see people emerging from stage right to stage left during the number, be like, like, it smells so bad.
Wait, so you said she's legendary now. Can I take a guess at who it is? I'll take a guess. Okay.
Joel!
Okay. Is it Ashley Park?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
No. Aaron, I don't know. I can't say that.
You just gave it away.
It wasn't. That's not the person.
Okay.
We had a cast member who actually was going through like digestion issues, and she was farting a lot on stage, and she was like going to the doctor. She ended up having to change her diet. It was like, oh, but like you're doing a show every night. Like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
But again, I will say, like during a tap number, doing trenches, it's really hard to hold it in. If you've got to go out, it's coming out.
Yeah, we were interviewing someone. They said that they would like burp in between lines because they had like so they would like be like la I can burp between lines and like get it in. So hey, you have to.
I've never had too much trouble with burping. I will say one time I had the hiccups right before going on stage for Stop, and like I couldn't stop them on tour. But luckily, Galen, our Mrs. Norbury, like took me through a breathing exercise so that I would stop. Because once the hiccups come, like they don't stop for me. It was so bad.
Oh, okay, I get that. Yeah.
So now do we go to guess the musical? So first,
okay, so you're giving me lyrics, and I guess what musical. It's from.
Yeah.
They're like lyrics, phrases. It could be like anything from the musical.
I'll tell you this. Most of them are lyrics, and then I think like 2 or 3 of them are just
phrases
or like something that has to do with the musical.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Green meets blonde.
That's Wicked?
Yes.
Okay.
The end is coming.
SpongeBob?
Yes. Freak meets Pink.
Is that Mean Girls?
Yes.
These are like riddles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. Some of them,
Yeah.
yeah. When we get like more to the list, they'll get more lyrical.
Okay.
A whole bunch of Davis fight Goliath.
A whole bunch of Davids. Oh, what? Newsies.
Yes.
Biblical times.
Say that one more time.
Biblical times.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat?
No, but I'm gonna tell you, this has nothing to
Nothing
do
to
with
do
like
with the
Jesus,
Bible,
the Bible.
no.
This is not a biblical show, but this is something that a character says, and then they like make a big emphasis on it.
Yeah. This is
Is this Book of Mormon?
No. Do you want the clue?
Yeah, I have a clue.
Yes.
I'm breaking down.
Oh, is this falsetto?
Yes.
Yeah. Cape, cow, hair, slipper.
Oh, Into the Woods.
Yes. Pure imagination.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Let it go.
Frozen.
My shot.
Hamilton.
Turn it off.
Book of Mormon.
And Arabian Nights.
Aladdin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did
you
really
did
good.
it.
You did really good.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I was surprised when you got The End Is Coming, because
Yes,
most people don't get
that.
SpongeBob.
No.
Most people need our clue, which is
Also-
Simple Sponge, which
Also,
gives it away.
a whole bunch of Davis fight Goliath. I'm surprised you got that one because that one's like a lot of people don't get that one also. So you did really
I
good.
love Newsies. Before it was a musical, when it was just the movie musical, I used to watch that at least once a week in high school. If I was having a bad day, I'd turn it on. I'd be like, "Oh, Christian Bale."
Oh my
singing.
god, my teacher would make us I don't know why. So my history teacher would make us watch it for history, and she would have the biggest crush. She would just watch it because he was in it, and she would have the biggest crush, and nothing to do with the lesson. We were learning about we weren't learning about the time. We were learning about Roman, ancient Egypt, and she put it on, talking about it was for historic purposes. I don't know. She put it on all the time.
I love that.
And she's I just love him. That. Guys, watch. And she would just make us watch it. She would put on your phone. This is a good movie. Put on off your phone. She'd be really serious about it. Yeah. I love her.
I had a full party where I invited my friends over who hadn't seen Newsies, and I was like, "We're watching Newsies." And of course, when you're gathering together to watch movies as friends, everyone's talking. I was shushing them. I was and I would pause the movie and be like, "Okay, you guys, you need to stop talking. You need to watch." And I shushed my
she was
"Oh my god!"
And she put it on often. So you know how many times we watch it? We're like, "Come on, we already know what's gonna happen." Yes, that happens. And she'd be like, "He's just such a great guy." I feel if we had the option to watch Batman, because he was in Batman, she probably would put it on for history.
But why don't we now go on to
quick round?
Okay. So these are rapid fire questions.
Yeah, they're fast.
Ooh, okay.
Favorite Halloween costume?
I was Batman, I was Robin, and my dog Penelope was Batman.
Oh, Harry Potter house.
Hogwarts. Hufflepuff.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Yeah. Favorite song?
Anything by Taylor Swift.
Favorite actor?
Chris Evans.
Favorite musical?
Book of Mormon.
Favorite food?
Donuts.
Favorite color?
Pink.
Favorite beverage?
Wine.
You can say that, yeah. You're not the only person that said that. There's just been a couple people that said wine.
Somebody said can I say red wine? Is that allowed?
Oh, it was
Kurt
Hansen, yes.
Can I say red wine?
He was like, you already said it, so you can just say it. Just go say it, yeah. Someone said box wine one time. They say it all the time, yeah. Favorite place to eat in New York?
It depends, but I love Arriba.
Biggest pet peeve?
People not doing their jobs.
Favorite sitcom?
Which one do I like? Oh, what is it? Parks and Rec.
Favorite costume?
That I've ever worn?
Yeah, in a show.
Oh, it's probably the tiger costume or any of the costumes from Bullets. They're beautiful.
Favorite animal?
Otters.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookie dough.
Favorite sport?
Baseball.
Favorite vacation spot?
Hawaii.
Favorite movie?
I have a hard time with this one, but I usually just go with Sleeping Beauty.
Favorite dance style?
Tap.
Favorite pop star?
Taylor Swift.
Favorite dance number in a show?
Shaking the Blues Away from Holiday Inn.
Favorite book?
I'm reading The Children of Blood and Bone right now, and I really like it, that series. So it changes. Harry Potter.
Right.
Favorite theater saying?
Broadway's hard. That's
Right.
a phrase we use a lot. Broadway's hard.
All right, that's it.
We're done.
Should I have said break a leg? Is that more positive?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what to say for this one, so
Yeah.
you're not the first. Yeah, a lot of people are
Yeah.
people I know one person that's been in a lot of musicals. She's like, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah.
What's your favorite theater
know,
thing?
That's a hard question because, like,
it is really okay. I guess for me, it's like me personally, what I've heard a lot. To be in a quiet backstage. I think that's one of them for me because a lot of people always say I talk backstage a lot. No, they can't hear us, but still.
I mean, like, cheating out, like, but is that? Does
Yeah.
that even count?
Yeah. Like,
does that
no,
even count?
no, back to the audience.
Oh, or you can say find your light.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Whenever we're in, I love to play games with our spot ops and with our tech crew. So like tech is super boring, and on Broadway you spend 2 weeks in tech, right? And it takes a long time. And sometimes you'll see that we're all standing there, and you're standing there in your spot, and you see that light moving, and I'm like, that light's coming from me because they, they're setting it, they're adjusting it so that it will always be, and so they register that spot or whatever. So I see that light, and I'll be like, it's my light. For them. And I would play games with our spot ops on Mean Girls, and they would turn on a tiny little spotlight on me randomly during Who's House and see if I would notice. And so I'd be like dance, because especially Who's House, you're kind of doing whatever, and I'd do whatever, and I'd like feel it, and I'd be like
but I feel like that's the only like dance number that you can get away with that because they're all drunk. So annoying.
And sometimes they would do that during Icy Stars, and actually have a picture that he saved for me of the picture at the end where he would tiny I do this as if this is how you do a spotlight. But he would open the light up, and so it's just my face is in spotlight, and it's the picture of the LED screen, and my face is like bright white, and I'm like
that's hilarious.
It is. But
he would sometimes do it during I'd Rather Be Me too, just like a little spotlight, and I would never do anything obvious, but I would always acknowledge, like, hey,
I see you.
I feel like if there was ever a Taylor Swift jukebox musical, you could definitely play Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Dreams.
Like you could definitely play Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I love
my dream.
Swift.
That's why I practice singing her music, though she has such a low voice.
Yeah, she really does. Yeah,
she goes real low.
It's kind of
and
like
then
how
like
it's like how like Madison, you know Madison Beer. I don't know, you know her, but like she has like it like you would think it'd be high, but like when you start singing it, you're like trying to get to those like low like baritone voice. I'm like, I can't really hit that. So yeah.
And then like Taylor's like belting and kind of reaching notes are like right in my break because her voice, you know what I mean? It's like low, it's hard. But I'm practicing like to be Taylor Swift.
Yeah, somebody do a Taylor Swift jukebox musical and catch Jonalyn Saxer.
Right.
Thank you. Joel has said it. It must happen.
Right. I think you're the first person that said they like Pink. I have never really heard people say that like Pink. I don't know why.
Like if I can get something in pink, I will have it in pink.
No, like Joel.
If I can have anything in pink, my wallet, all of my purses, all of my scarves, my hats, I have jackets that are pink. Like I love pink.
Yeah, I'm
obsessed. So excited to be in Mean Girls.
Yeah,
because I was like, none of them they just kept giving us things that are black with pink writing on them. I was like, I want a neon pink sweatshirt. Where is it, Mean Girls?
Right.
Now, I do have to ask, have you ever played Elle Woods? Because I feel like you could definitely kill Elle Woods in Legally Blonde.
Thank you. I love Elle Woods. I gear more towards Margot. It's like a role I would love to play.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of Karen character of it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can get every update.
And make sure to check out Broadway Time Online to get Broadway's latest news and check out all of our interviews. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys!